Hey guys, welcome to video number 2. I just want to make a couple quick comments in addition to the concepts I went over in video number 1 is how to set up your data perfectly for analysis, where you have your data labels in the first row, nothing above, no titles above, and then if there's any spaces to the left of where your data starts, you want to get rid of those too, so everything is all butt up against the column labels and the row labels. There is another reason for that as well, is because if you don't, yes, you are able to click and drag to highlight everything, which is incredibly time consuming. Click and drag, and then you could do your data filters and so forth. But that part has left many people with a lot of different kind of errors where they might not remember to grab all of the rows or the columns, and it's just always a good idea to have it organized in this way where you can click the select all, and this way everything you get no rogue columns being filtered where it messes up the rest of the data. I don't know how many people probably have had that happen to them, so I wanted to point that out from the first video. But today's topic is how to separate data in one column, how to separate it in multiple columns. And I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do that. Number 1 is using the delimitation function, which is under data text to columns right here. That is how to delimitate the data using a certain, by basically telling it wherever you want. Now, if there's a systematic way that the data is linked, that you can split it up, just like this is, for example, first name underscore last name. There's a way where I can separate first name in one column, last name in the next, and then get rid of this middle underscore altogether. Now that is using the delimitation function. I'm going to show you how that works. And the second way to do that is, you might not have a way to delimitate the data, if you will. So for example, if you look at row label 2, you have these 2 letters, AA, and then you have a bunch of numbers, okay? So I'm going to show you how to pull out that AA and the number into 2 different columns, and the way that I use that is by using the right or the left formula, and I'm going to show you how that works. And of course it's going to be under 10 minutes because this needs to be quick and easy. So let's start with the delimitation function. Now when I'm separating columns, okay, if you put your cursor kind of up here where the arrows are, I like to insert blank columns where I'm going to be separating things. The reason I do this is because if you don't, it actually asks you when you do it, do you want to override data in the cells? And if you accidentally click yes, then you may potentially lose that data. So right now we're going to be splitting up row label 1, and when I do this, you got to be kind of cognizant of the labels. So this is now going to become the first name column, and this is going to become the last name column. Okay, so I'm going to highlight everything that I want. A shortcut is if you click on the first cell with data, you hold the shift button down the entire time, you hit the end key, and then press down, and it automatically will highlight everything in that data set. Now you could click and drag. I prefer to do it this way because it's a little faster. Now I'm going to go to my text to columns. Now this is using the delimited feature. Okay, you have this data. Okay, preview of the data. Yeah, it looks like that, right? You get the first name underscore last name. So you hit next. Now these are the delimitators, and basically what delimiter just means is what is it using to separate the data that you want separated out. So in this case, you can see what's separating the first name and last name is that underscore. Now it could be a space, a comma space is very common with name, especially for those of you that work in HR or insurance or a lot of other different industries that'll have a column with last name, comma, space, first name. You can separate it using this. You'll just be using comma space. But it's important to understand kind of what you're telling the computer to do. So you're telling the computer, I want to separate the data, but you got to tell the computer what, how does it know what goes in column 1 and what goes in column 2. So in this case, I'm telling it, I'm using other, I'm saying underscore. tells it what to do. And guess what? It knows what to do now. So it's separating it out. Hit next, you hit finish, okay? Boom. Right there, you got your first name, you got your last name, you got no more underscore. Okay, so that is how to use the delimitation function. Again, you can use it a lot of different ways. It doesn't, it could be, it doesn't just have to be the underscore example that I showed you. It can be space. If it's first name space last name, it's exactly the same procedure like I just did, except on that first screen there you will identify space, or if it's a comma space, etc. This next way to separate the data is pretty neat. I think I call it the right or left function. So let's say I want there's no real way for me to delimitate this. There's no like spaces or commas or things like that. So this is why I'm going to use the right or left formula here. And again, there's a billion different ways to do these things here, but I'm showing you one way how to do it, and probably the way that I gravitate towards depending on the situation. And you'll learn how to identify what works best for you. It depends on what you're trying to do. So here I want the letters. Now, this could be any kind of letter. It doesn't have to be all the same. And you can argue, oh, well, you can, just copy A all the way down and then fix the numbers. But no, that's time consuming. That doesn't make sense. So that's the letter, and then here's the number. So I'm going to show you the left formula. So all you do is hit equals, you type left, okay? And then, you'll notice it kind of tells you how to do the formula now. But you hit left, open parenthesis, click on the cell that you want. And what do I want? I want the first two characters in that cell, right? So literally it's that easy. You equal left, open parenthesis, you click the cell. I'm doing comma 2, and then I just hit enter. It finishes it for you. And then I could copy it down. If you put your cursor in the lower right hand corner there, double click it, it'll copy down that formula all the way down. Now if this was, I'm just showing you, if this was BB whatever, the formula will pick it up. It'll, whatever it is, it's what it's doing is it's putting it's going to the left of the cell, and you're telling it to look at the cell, and you're telling it to grab the two first characters, and that's what that formula is right here. Left, click on the cell, comma, how many digits. Now if this was 3 letters in the beginning, you would change the formula to 3 right there, because you want to separate out. So here I'm going to actually use the right formula, and I know I'm going fast, guys, but these are free videos that are meant for 10 minutes that you can download and kind of rewatch. Definitely I have more in-depth instructional videos and webinars to really become a master at this stuff. So using the right formula, so all you do is hit equals right, okay, open parenthesis again, you click on this original cell that you want, and yeah, guess what, it looks at the right of the cell first, and it kind of goes inward, right? 1, 2, 3. So it starts from the right and goes to the left, and how many digits you want it to go to the left is, in this case, all the numbers are 3 digits, so it's comma 3, okay? Let's hit enter. There you go. And then I am copying it all the way down. You can see they're different numbers already because it's doing an autofill where you can have this. So that is using the right formula. This is, no pun intended, not like it's the right formula, but just like the directional right formula and the left formula. And this is what I use personally to separate a lot of data. If it's imperfect for whatever I'm using it for, I need to separate it out. If it doesn't work nicely with delimitation, then I use the right or left formula, and you can do this however you want. Once you understand how the formula works, you can apply it in any kind of situation. So here, I'm going to show you another delimitation. So what I'm doing again, because you can't see me, is I'm holding Shift, hitting End and down. It automatically highlights all the data in that row. And then I go to text to columns. In this case, it's delimited, and I just want space here because it just has a space in between, and that's how I want it separated. So there you go. And then this is first name and last name. So here you go. We went over delimitation by any, you can use delimitation by anything as long as it's systematic. So in this case, it was underscore. On the right hand side over here, when I did it, it was a space. And then here I showed you how to use the right and left formula, which I think is an amazing formula, especially when you're separating data out of the same column. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Look forward to seeing you on video number 3.